Hey guys, welcome to episode 7 of Rock Talk with the Silver Fox. I'm going to start this a little bit different than I've normally been. For those of you who know me pretty well, last 4 days has not been fun. But I just want to really say thank you to everybody who's reached out to me and my family through kind of a really rough time. Some pretty horrific things have happened. And I am really happy to be doing this today because I'm doing it with some friends and some guys that I have known for years and years now. Even before they were a band, I knew them individually. Today I'm going to be talking to Revolution X. Welcome, guys. How you guys doing?
Good. How you doing? Good. Thank you. Hello.
I'm doing okay. I'm better now that I'm talking to you guys.
You're alive.
Yes, I'm alive. That's very good. I kind of said that I know you guys for a while. And I'm kind of leading up to something else that happens. Jay, I've known you probably, I'm guessing now, close to 14 years.
Something like that.
Probably that you probably wouldn't think that long, but we go back to all the way to the Bobbleheads days and the bike nights and things like that, back when you were in Five Star Ruin and stuff like that. Dan, I've known you since back in Stoughton Trailers, and when you were in a band we shall not name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've known you probably well over 10 years now.
Yeah, probably pretty close.
Yeah. And Danny, I've known, believe it or not, I've known you in your different incarnations in the different bands down in the Rockford area.
Right.
So you guys, believe it or not, kind of came together as established individuals. But I don't think I've ever seen a quicker rise to one band, an independent band, than Revolution X. I mean, it all came together, and honestly, I was there at your very first show, and it wasn't very long, and you guys were up there at yeah. We'll get to that, Dan. We will get to that.
You know what that was?
Yes, I do, and we're gonna get to it. But your guys' rise, did you guys think it'd be that fast?
No, not at all.
No.
Well, we were very fortunate that things just happened to play out the way that they did. Right.
Yeah, Gary, like we talked about, the band that shall not be named. You saw how I was with some of the very first times on stage. Getting up, trying to stumble my way through a song with Rockstar, and then the first times that I was up doing stuff with Left of Reason, just filling in on things. And so for the fact that I'd never actually been in like my own real band as a singer, and then getting up on stage the first time ever, and then how quickly things kind of took off, like that was just absolutely insane.
So those who may not know, these two, Danny and Jay can attest to this. We Left of Reason actually played on your guys' first show when you guys played with Wayland that night at the back bar.
Right.
And I remember you followed us. And I remember Dan going up on stage, and I just looked at him, and he's got his nice little white tuck shirt on. He's got his little orange suspenders, and whiter than white.
Yeah, he matched his shirt.
Yeah.
And he's looking at me and he goes, "Gary, I don't know if I can do this, dude. I don't know if I can do this." And it was so bad that I walked back to where our merch table was, right next to the sound and light guy. And it was like, Chris Bohr and that whole group sitting back there. And we started taking, I said, "Okay, how many songs is it in before Dan pukes?"
We were waiting.
Yeah. Me too.
Pass out, puke, whatever. We thought something was going to go down.
And I just remember 2 songs in, and I told him, I said, "Dan, just get out there, do a song or 2. You'll get your feet underneath it. You've got great guys behind you, and you'll get it." And you did, and you guys kind of killed it that night.
It was phenomenal. It was a packed house, and we couldn't have asked for anything better than that night. It was one hell of a launch for what was going to come.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for your
it was-
first
it was-
show,
it
that
was
was a
an
big
awesome
show.
opportunity.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
that was a really big show. Bunch of great bands. I mean, you got, yeah, Left the Reason was on there too. So I mean, yeah, and how many shows have we all played together now?
Yeah.
So
And then shortly after that, and I do mean shortly after that, there you guys are, you know, at Taste of Madison, big as playing their big ass stage into thousands.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
we got lucky at that first show. You know, Johnny's a big fan of Wayland, and somebody crossed paths with him and slapped our disc
it was my buddy
on
He
his
slapped-
chest,
slapped the disc right in his gut, said, "Take this home and listen to it."
and he listened to it on his way home, and it was just
Posted about it immediately. You know?
it just set him off, and you know it again, the stars were in alignment as far as that goes, and it opened up the door big time.
Well, I've been saying all along that I really feel that in our area, in our local area, and this goes out, believe it or not, I've interviewed bands from California and all over the place, all over the country, and even the world. Our little sector of the world attracts a lot of bands. You know, it's good
Yes.
for rock music. It's very good. It's a hot spot. But the bands that are there, and I'm talking, you know, the Revolution X's, the Left of Reasons, the Almas, now Lines of Loyalty, all of those bands right in that area. I'm just waiting for one of you guys to break. Because I think once one of them breaks and everybody else in the country realizes, look at this area of the country, see what's there.
Right.
There's so much talent. On my sixes, you know, how much talent is just sitting there and waiting to go
We have
and
a
ready
ma-
to go.
Yeah, we have a massive music hub in,
Talent
you know, from, you know, northern, middle Wisconsin, all the way down to Chicago. I mean, there's a million super talented bands, and I'm honestly going along with what you're saying. I'm surprised that we haven't seen more people notice it. Like, people know when they come here to visit for Rock Fest, Rock USA, even Country USA, things like that. They kind of notice, but then it's like they leave and they forget about it. And I'm really surprised considering how big JJO is. I mean, they won Rock and Metal Station of the Year. I don't even know how many years in a row. They were actually told they're not allowed to win it anymore because they did it too many times. They're leaps and bounds above and beyond everybody else. I mean, Randy Hawk, he goes and he does all the producing and everything for Lou Brutus, for Christ's sake. So it's, how do we have one of the best radio stations in the nation right here, and nobody knows that we have a million super talented bands in the area?
That is a conversation that needs to be had. We have, and I know definitely you guys have, we all have our different people we know and we talk to at JJO. I mean, they are a monster.
Yeah.
They're where you want to be. I mean, yes, we want to be on every radio station and we'll take smaller ones, but when you make it on JJO, you make it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not talking the local stage show. I'm talking in their rotation somehow. How are we not somebody not picked up?
Exactly.
Yeah. Honestly, though, even the local stage, I mean, the fact that they have that. What other radio station has that? Where they're picking up local bands all over Wisconsin and Northern Illinois and slamming them on a section.
Honestly, most of them do, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
But
didn't know
you
that.
are correct in the sense that having JJO put you on their local stage puts you out to definitely more people.
Right.
There's no argument about that. They are the kings in this area.
And also, fortunately enough, with Johnny doing his morning show, there's no rhyme to the reason, but he puts us on there. You know, it happens sometimes once a week, twice a week, or it'll go a couple weeks and you won't hear nothing. Then before you know it, he's got another one on there. And I'll
Right.
pull it up in the morning just to check the playlist. I'm like, oh, there we are.
Hey, God bless you. That's awesome. And the funny part is, you guys have your in with Johnny, and it seems like when Johnny leaves town and leaves D in charge, look who ends up on the.
She does. Yeah, she does too. Yep, I hear it all the time.
Look who ended up on, with a 45-minute interview, and look who ended up on the Sound Lounge.
Well, and with Lance there too. I mean,
Yeah.
Lance is good buddies with you guys.
And Ash.
Yep, and Ash, absolutely. So, the only reason I said Lance is because he's been doing the morning show more recently.
Yeah, he was on there this
Um,
morning.
So when Johnny leaves, it's usually Biatch and Lance doing the morning show.
That kind of turns into an awesome free for all.
Oh, it's a shit show, but it's hilarious.
So yeah, that's awesome, because I think that's the way we break, honestly, is we start getting the radio playing and we get out and we tour.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, 2020, by most estimates of everybody I've talked to include us, just sucked ass.
well, and we were very fortunate enough that we stayed busy this past summer. We were able to pick up the slack from a lot of things, and we were going hard and heavy for most of the summer. And I think it started in May.
Yeah, we
And I
we
think
played on Kenosha a few times. We played Fond du Lac for a first year startup of a outdoor little music festival that they're doing, which we got invited back again this year.
That was a good show.
Yeah, phenomenal show. They it's a biker club, and a bunch of chapter, and bunch of really cool guys, awesome people. Let us camp out there all weekend and everything like that. And they invited us back for this next year, which is they got some tricks up their sleeve for that. So I'm pretty excited about that one.
and it's for veterans that are
Oh,
suffering
yeah.
from what is it, PTSD. So everything.
That's interesting, because I have the feeling I know the show you're talking about, because I run a show that's been, this will be my 4th or 5th year with it, the Rock to Stop 22 show.
22, yeah.
And it wasn't, we don't make it Left of Reason is the heaviest band on the bill. And I heard that they were starting something like that out in the Kenosha area, and we heard rumors of it, and we were really happy. I mean, we're really happy to see it,
Yeah.
because anything that can draw that kind of attention, to our veterans. I don't like to get all political and stuff, but hey, I'm a vet, so God bless America, and if you're going to help the guys that were there, then I'm all for it.
Right.
So I don't care who's putting on the festival. Please do it right. And
Yeah.
please make it awesome.
Exactly. There you go.
And
Yeah, we're not able to do any of this music shit if we didn't have veterans and people serving. So it's, that's protecting the country, that's protecting our freedoms, that's allowing us to do the shit that we want to do. So
yeah, that's awesome. Jay, I guess this question is more directed at you.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. As long as I've known you, you've been a bit of a control freak.
You shut your mouth.
Exactly. Not in a bad way, but and I know Five Star Room was a good band and everything, and you guys were doing everything, and all of a sudden, for whatever reason, and you don't have to get into it, it just kind of dissolved, for lack of a better word. Next thing I know is I hear that you're trying to put together a band. All of a sudden I hear Danny Tableman's in the band, and Danny you're a phenomenal guitar player, dude. You are incredible.
Thank you very much.
I mean, you are incredible. I'm like, wow, okay, he's got Danny Tableman. All of a sudden I got fucking Dan walking up to me as I'm driving my forklift through Stoughton trailers. Dude, I've got to go.
it wasn't when I was sleeping in the back room, was it?
No, that was me sleeping back there, dude. You interrupted my nap.
Yeah, right.
How did you go about putting this whole thing together? And I've seen you guys, and you don't seem like a control freak with the band.
Well, really, me and to start it from way back. I mean, I had walked into the back bar Danny was playing. I was still in Five Star Ruin.
That was
Danny
in
was playing with Fists of Rage,
Fists of Rage, yeah.
and my wife was standing there, and she turned around. She's like, "You got to watch this guitar player," because I'm also a guitarist. I'm a musician, period. And Danny's style was so similar to mine, and I'd never seen another guitarist that had the same kind of style that I did. And I sat and watched him, and I'm like, "Fuck, I gotta play with this guy." So we met each other, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm a bass player. We should jam sometime." Da 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 da. We had chatted back and forth over the internet since that day here and there, and we just never hooked up. He hooked up with a couple other people after his band dissolved, and then Five Star Ruin dissolved, and he reached out and said, "Hey man, you all good?" And I'm like, "Yep, like we're both free now. Your guys are done, my guys are done. Let's hook up." So we actually did. I think the first one or two times we jammed, it was just him and I. And then we actually invited down Macaloo and Brian from Convoy, or I should say up from Chicago, and they jammed with us. And we had joked about starting a super band, like these guys from Chicago and you from Oxford and me from here. And well, just from there, that didn't really do nothing. Then I brought in Josh Stage, just to play the drums, not to be in the band, but it just worked out. I brought a singer down from Beaver Dam that I had jammed with for many years. And that kind of started it. And then it dissolved because of just, who knows, stupidity issues, And Kevin Martin actually picked us up and said, "I'll be the manager. I'll take care of all the issues. You guys don't got to deal with the shit no more. Just focus on the music," which was huge for all of us.
Right.
And then them guys dissolved, and then we approached Dan one night, or Dan approached him. I'm not sure what happened. And here we are.
It was actually at a Whalen show that I went to. I think it was like Halloween the year before our first show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it was, I was just outside. I was still smoking back then. So I went outside for a cigarette. I don't remember who the hell I was talking to, and then started talking to Kevin. And I was like, "Yeah, blah, blah, blah. I'm a singer. I'm trying to look for a band. I just got out of my band that won't be named." And,
Are we talking about?
Those of you who don't know, that band was not good.
no.
It's like a Harry Potter story. The name
Yeah,
we
right.
will not name,
The
Lord
band that shall
Voldemort.
not be named. And he was like, "Well, that's a coincidence. Like, I know a group of guys that are looking for a singer." And I was like, "Who's that?" And he was like, "Jay Austin, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "I fucking know Jay. Me and Jay go way back. I tried out for his band a long time ago. Didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I didn't know how to write music. I didn't know how to just come up with lyrics on the spot. My musical career had been one shitty cover band and drunken karaoke. And so whatever, either way, I got a hold of Jay. We set up a thing. I jumped in, and it was actually, everything went really quickly. It was within
I remember.
yeah,
It
within
went
a
really
week
quickly.
and a half, I had already written my first song, ever period, first song. And we ended up just going and going and going from there, and everything just fit really well.
Yeah, he impressed me. I mean, the first time we jammed together, he actually tried out for us with using a screwdriver as a microphone in a garage where we weren't even playing our instruments. This is an old band. And he just sang to the radio, but that didn't work. And I told Danny and I think Kevin and Josh at the time, I said, "Well, I've tried him out before. I'm like, he's got a great voice, but zero experience. Like,
Green.
he can't even write a lyric. He doesn't know how to flow. He doesn't know how to jump into it. He just can't groove. But out of all fairness, everybody gets a fair shake. So give him a shot." And he came in and proved me the fuck wrong, because he hit it out of the park. And I
that's
knew
why
right away when he sang Black Soul and he nailed it, and he nailed it with power. I knew right then and there, I was like, this is the guy. Like, me and Danny looked at each other and we're like, did a little bit of a shit-eating grin just between us that we try not to make too big. so nobody else could see it. And yeah,
Just a little nod.
rest is history. Well,
Yeah,
to the
I-
drummers,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good time to be wrong, right?
absolutely. Yeah.
And
definitely.
then, I mean, I know the three of you guys are really tight with each other. I mean,
We do Kegels.
yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. Does not surprise me at all. Just gotta let it hang there for a minute, folks.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, because I know, because when you guys were first started, I mean, you guys what year 3 now, or is it 4?
Almost 4.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're not gonna call it 2020, so 3 sounds right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty much what the rest of us are doing.
Yeah.
Because I remember, like I said, Dan would talk to me a lot at work because he and I worked in the same place, and I worked close to his line, and he used to laugh because I would drive into a paint vault and literally back my forklift up a ramp and go to sleep. And
when Gary wasn't trying to hit me with a forklift.
yeah, that too. But now then I started like going into the local watering spots that we all have right by our houses. I mean, I literally live down the street from Dan and Jay. So we have a lot of the same different watering holes, and I'd walk in and I'm like, huh, there's Jay and Dan. There's Jay and Dan. There's Jay and Dan. It got to the point where I wasn't seeing Jay and Christy
Yeah.
anywhere. It was always Jay and Dan. And I'm like,
Christy got really jealous over our bromance.
Yeah. And yeah, Amanda too.
Right.
and I was like, all right, this is kind of a good thing, because I know we would sit down and we would talk different things about music. And, you kept saying Danny Tableman, and I kept saying, fuck, I know that name. I know that name. I know him from somewhere. And when that first show hit, I was like, oh, fuck, man, I've seen this guy for years.
Yeah.
And I just never knew you by name, which is unfortunate because it was in Rockford. And the problem is a lot of the Rockford bands were the same.
Yes.
Some of them were the same, but each one, had a fantastic singer, a fantastic guitar player, a fantastic drummer, and I remember I was always like, holy fuck, look at this guy go. And I'm like, oh yeah, these motherfuckers, they went out and they went out and got themselves a bunch of ringers and put them together and killed it. I mean, can't lie, I'm a fan. I mean, I'm a fan. When I first, I'll never forget the first song after your guys' first show. You guys were playing at the back bar shortly after that. And I said, you know what? I need to go out and check out Revolution X. I need to see, was it a one-night deal? I've been in this business a long time. I've seen some bands put on great first shows, and then they were like, the rest of the time. So, of course, I walk in. You guys just start playing Good Riddance, and Dan points me out and calls me a fucking whore as I walk through the door. and I'm like, so I sit down and I watch the show, and I'm like, no, these fuckers are real. And I'm like, that's awesome, because 2020, I think we're going to see a couple of big bands go away from our area. They're just going to be gone.
Right.
Some of them are having problems, and I've spoken to them, not on this program, but unlike you guys, I talk to a lot of music people.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, we don't know what we're doing. We're done. This guy went this way. This guy went that way. So I'm glad to hear that Revolution X is sticking around, because you're right. We played a lot with you guys, and probably will a lot in 2021. You guys have also started getting around. I mean, you're not just playing, Janesville and Beloit anymore. You're going to the northern Wisconsins. You're going to the southern, northern Wisconsin, even northern Illinois, and stretching out. You guys plan on stretching further out?
Yeah, we've been to Minnesota. We've done that.
Oh, dude, you're gonna get me killed by saying that. Absolutely, get me lynched by saying that.
Well,
I'm praying to God the guys in Left of Reason don't watch up to here because
Our
they've
boys,
been on me for 3 years to get them in Minnesota, and I still haven't got them in there. And I try like a mother. But I'm sorry.
we got in touch with I've been following them for years before I ever joined up with these guys with the band Via.
Yeah.
And I've known Jason and Sam, who he recently left, and I think he's back now actually with them. My buddy, the guy that actually gave Johnny Danger the disc at our first show, was cousins with Sam Via. And so I started following him years ago, and then I kept talking to him. I was like, hey man, you know, if I ever join a band, I'd love to, you know, open up for you guys or something like that. So when we started doing stuff and starting to do more shows, I got in touch with the guys, and I was like, hey, you guys ever get some shows up that way? You know, I got family up in Eau Claire, Chippewa Falls. We'd love to come to Minnesota. We'd love to come to wherever you're at. Because I've seen you play tons of shows down here. You know, you guys always make the rounds through Madison, and because I'm trying to think, did we play a show with them in Madison?
No.
Was it them?
I don't remember.
Yes.
Was it?
We did. We
Yeah.
played a show in Madison
At
at
the old.
it was a tap house of some kind. I don't remember the hell the name of it. It was them and it was Via and Divide the Fall.
Yep.
And then they brought us back up to Chippewa Falls at everybody's, and then they took us out to a place in Minnesota as well.
Yeah, we've done 3 or 4 shows with them.
Yeah, phenomenal group of guys. They have absolutely phenomenal sound. Dude's a hell of a singer. I've been following him and loving him for a long time, and really good group of guys. Get in touch with them.
Absolutely. So when kind of getting back, you know, you just kind of Jay, you just kind of let this thing flow then from there.
Yeah, it just happened. I mean, Danny played something, and it just happened. Like we didn't even have to look at each other. He would just play. I wouldn't even look at what he was doing, and I would just come in and start putting on down a bass line to it. It was just almost like we had played together for our entire lives together, because we just, I mean, it was
natural.
It was so like boom, like
Yeah, it was super organic.
somebody was a refrigerator, the other guy was the magnet. We were like boom, we
The
bonded.
refrigerator and the magnet. I
Yeah.
love that. That is awesome.
I'm
That is
hungry,
awesome.
right? I want a sandwich.
The refrigerator and the magnet. I haven't heard that one yet. That's saying something as old as I am. And Danny, what kind of inspiration did you ever have to play the guitar the way you do? Because it's not completely conventional at all.
Well, first off, I'm self-taught. I tried taking lessons. Well, I took classical and folk when I was, we're going back about 45 years. Back when I was in 3rd grade, which is the first time I played in front of anybody. I played a school talent show when I was playing Bach, a song called A Little Fugue in G minor. And I couldn't even tell you what that means now. And I guess really what started it is my dad was a part of the 8-track Columbia House tape club.
Oh yeah.
And we're sitting there scrolling through the
1
little
penny.
like, stamp size stickers that you would glue on to order it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I seen this picture of these guys dressed in makeup, and me being that young, like 5 years old, I called them the Halloween clowns. I'm like, I want that. And
My favorite band of all time. Be careful here, Danny.
no, you're good. Because to me, Ace Frehley was the shit.
Oh yeah.
And it was Love Gun. You know, here are these guys all dudded up, and then you've got all the girls on the ground underneath them, and they're doing their poses and their things. I just thought that was the coolest shit. And you know, we got that, and then Phantom of the Park came out, and I seen Ace Frehley playing, and he's got that center pickup in his Les Paul that's smoking, and it looks like it's on fire, and I'm like, That's what I want to do. That's it. And
What a horrible movie, by the way.
it was cheesy.
That was
But,
horrible.
but
I'm like
to
the
a-
biggest Kiss fan in the world, and that's horrible.
But to a little kid, it was cool as fuck.
I was 12. It was cool.
Yeah. But watch it now, and you're like, I can't get through the whole thing.
No. You know, when
But,
Gene Simmons just
Yeah.
he does growls, he never speaks.
And my family was big in music. My dad's brother was in country bands, played guitar. He was an award-winning country yodelist. My dad had a full ride scholarship on his voice for singing. He played guitar. My mom played guitar. My grandma played piano, and I guess really it was DNA. And
I believe in that, by the way. It's something you have to have.
right. And my first guitar I got when I was in maybe first grade, and it was a Lone Ranger acoustic guitar. This big ass acoustic guitar that had the Lone Ranger and trigger painted on the one side of it.
That's silver, buddy, not trigger.
Oh,
Silver.
was it trigger or silver? I thought it was
His
silver.
horse's name
No,
was
that's
High
Roy
Old Silver
Rogers'
Away. I'm old.
Wasn't it?
What's
Yeah.
that?
Was Trigger Roy Rogers' horse?
Yes.
Okay, that's where I'm getting it.
I
from.
just my dad used to
Yeah,
make
High
us
Old
watch the
Silver
Lone
Away,
Ranger after
yeah.
churches. High Old Silver Away.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a wolf hunter and he needed silver bullets.
Right.
Nobody knows.
But and once I hit about third grade, started playing, did that, and of course, bigger things popped up on the frying pan like Fraggle Rock, the Muppets. I'm like, I'm quitting fucking guitar lessons. I gotta watch this show.
That was this
Fraggle
last
Rock
weekend.
is awesson, dude.
It is. Love it. Everything.
I was like a
cool.
freshman, sophomore in high school. So well, let's face it, I smoked a lot of pot like I do now. And Fraggle Rock was awesome. I can even
Yeah,
still sing the song, and I watch it whenever it's on with my granddaughter.
Awesome. It's
Yes.
a sick ass show. But
What's funny about that is my COVID beard, I'm starting to look like a Jim Henson creature.
but
Traveling Matt back there.
when I hit about seventh grade, I guess really it kicked in because Metallica was starting to become big, Yngwie Malmsteen, and then the hair bands were coming out, Quiet Riot and Rat and all these guys, and everybody wanted to be a guitar player. And I had a buddy that was on the wrestling team with me that had an old Petey Bandit amp and this Harmony Flying V, and I would spend the night at his house just to rape and pillage that fucking guitar. It would piss him off. Every weekend I go there, I'm like, go do what you want to do. I'm good. And I just played. And finally I talked my folks into buying a guitar, had to paint the damn house in order to get the guitar, but I got a BC Rich Warlock and a PV amp, started taking lessons. And the guy that I took lessons from, his name was Louis, and he was well known in the Rockford area. I can't remember exactly. I think he played with Ripped for a while, I think is what it was. But what he would do, if you had a song you wanted to learn, bring the tape in, he would learn it and play it and teach you how to play it. And I think it was a White Lion song. Yes, it was.
When the children cry.
I was just about to start singing.
No, it wasn't that one, but exactly. All right, Tramp.
Because did they have two songs, right? They had When the Children Cry and Wait.
Wait, but
Yeah.
no, there was three, but I can't remember the other one. And I think the one that I wanted to learn how to play was the other one. And I took the tape home, and I'm playing with the tape, listening to what he showed me, and I'm going, that doesn't sound right to me. So I sat there for hours, and I just finger fucked everything until I finally got it. And the next Saturday I went to practice. I said, Lou, man, you showed me this, but this is what I'm hearing. And I put the tape in and I played with it. And he looks at me and goes, what the fuck do you need me for then? I'm like, you're right. I'm not spending my lawnmower money on you anymore.
You bring up White Lion, that makes me laugh a little bit is when I was in the Army and I was in Fort Sill, my roommate was their guitar tech. And
Oh, nice.
and he actually built the guitars that you saw in both Wait and When the Children Cry. I mean,
And Vito is a phenomenal guitar player. I wish he was still out there and doing it.
that's crazy. You know, I was sitting there thinking while you're talking, I'm like, yeah, a good friend of mine back, you know, in the day used to do that kind of stuff. And I'm like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. And all of a sudden, you know, he goes home, he comes back, you know, from leave and has pictures with him, you know, with White Lion and him holding up his guitars and Vito right there with him. And I'm like, all right, fuck you, you know. Your guys' songs are I've always kind of said I'm not a huge Cookie Monster vocal guy. And I know I've talked especially to Dan and to Jay about this. And you guys found a way to do it the way I think it should be done, where you can go to clean and you can go to a very hard vocal, to almost a growl, but you can still understand it.
Right.
And you know, I mean, Good Riddance, Black Soul, I mean, those are the first two that stuck out to me like right away. I was like, check these out. You know, then you move on to Zoltan and Wannabe, Hit the Road. And you guys mix that all up. Do you guys leave that to Dan to figure out how he wants to do it? Or
I
is it a
think it's more of the feeling of the song. You know, the music kind of dictates the emotion or the dynamic of what's going to happen, and I think we all feed off of that.
Yeah.
So and ultimately it ends up creating its own energy once the package is complete.
Yeah, it's something. I mean, they have their input on, you know, hey, maybe you should keep this area a little bit cleaner instead of doing the growls, or maybe do something a little heavier here. Especially, me and Jay go back and forth because he does vocals with me, and so like we'll feed off of each other when it comes to stuff a lot of the time. And yeah, it's going off of what Danny said. It's he'll start playing a riff. Jay will join him. Scott now as our drummer, he'll start throwing in some fills, this and that and whatever, and I'll just start harmonizing, whether it's a clean, whether it's a scream, whether it's something, whether it's even just spoken word, and it's before I even know what words to put down. Usually I'm hearing some kind of a story in my head. Whether, I mean, that take Zoltan for instance. I mean, it's a song about a serial killer. And
imagine that?
right. Thanks, Wisconsin. And,
Yeah.
but it's, I mean, it was weird because I'd sort of had this idea in my head for a while, for probably 8 months to a year. I was like, you know, I think it would be interesting to write a song from a serial killer's point of view, but I didn't have any words. I didn't have any lyrics. I didn't have anything other than just that initial idea. And right when these guys started writing the basic, you know, here's a chorus, here's a verse, here's a whatever, it instantly popped into my head. I was like, no, this, like, I can just hear how the guitar riff goes, how the bass is following along with it, or this or that. I was like, this is the story that needs to be told with this song. And going with that, each song is how the story goes is sort of in a way dictated. Okay, do I want this part to be clean? Do I want this part to be heavy? And I actually just recently got into like heavier death metals and deathcore and stuff like that. I never really was into that. I was more into Slipknot, Korn, Mudvayne, things like that. You know, I grew up in the late 90s and early 2000s listening to those kind of metals and hard rock. new metal and stuff like that. So, you know, most of the time, even when they're doing heavy lyrics and growls, you can understand what they're saying. So I didn't want to go into
That's the
it.
sign of the good ones.
Yeah, right, exactly. And it was,
I mean, honestly, it is. I mean, all of them have phenomenal musicians, but as a band, to me, that's always a sign of the good ones.
right.
I mean, I've heard some
Oh.
great ones that I can't understand a word.
Oh, for sure. And I absolutely appreciate that style of music. And I've grown to like it a bit more. And I've been sort of taking some of the influence from that. But on one hand, I can't do it. I can't do the extreme gutturals. Not yet. I'm still practicing every day.
And no pig squeals.
Yeah, no pig squeals. But it's but yeah, going along with that, I was like, you know, I want to be able to go with what these guys said. I want to be able to show the emotion, whether it's anger or frustration or something like that. But I still want people to know what I'm saying. You know, I want to be able to get the message across of what we're writing. If they can't understand what I'm saying, well then, you know, what's the point of doing it, I guess. So
Couldn't agree with you more.
And really, that was one thing when Jay and I started doing this, when we started talking about, you know, what are we looking for? And we had to have, you know, the quintessential best of both worlds. You got to be able to have the clean, but yet when it calls for the rasp, the dirt, just the grit, it's got to be there. You know, I didn't want us to be either the pretty boy clean all the time or the gutturals all the time. It had to be a mix. And young man back here had it. And it was like,
And
okay.
it shows. And you guys have used that. And I mean, you fused Danny's guitar in there and you got, you know, Dan's voice. And Jay, I don't know if you get enough respect for how good of a bass player you are, because you don't play just a normal bass line.
No.
No, he's my Billy Sheehan.
Yeah, he has a lot of fills, like a lot. And you know, and then, you know, you're, for lack of a better term, your newest drummer. I know you went through one or two before him.
3 or 4.
I wasn't going to bring that up. I was going to let you do that. But and I forget his name now, but Scott. Yeah, Scott. That's it. Yeah, you guys and your names, man. You got, you know, a couple Dans, you got a couple Scotts hanging around.
Only one Jay. That can be only one.
Thank God.
Amen.
And you guys, I mean, it's really worked out to a nice blend. I mean, everybody gets their spot. And sometimes in a band, honestly, that has, you know, you see one guy take over. And you guys are able to do that and share the spotlight. And honestly, you don't seem to mind sharing the spotlight.
No, we're all there to do the same thing. We all love what we do, and you know, it's a band of brothers, and we put 110% on all angles, and there's no reason for it, like ego trips, because you hear that shit all the time, and there's none of that. You know, if somebody's overplaying or overstepping, that just starts creating issues, and you know, we've never had that.
No. Even says in our bio, when the 4 become one, the revolution has begun. And that's how it is. We don't look at us as 4 separate entities. We meld together as one. And like you said, everybody's kind of got their own little spot they do, and nobody's hungry for the spotlight by themselves because there's enough room there for all of us.
It was interesting because when we first started doing shows and stuff like that, people would ask, you know, about how do you get the sound that you guys are making? Like, you know, we haven't heard a lot of bands that sound, you know, for better lack of a word, as peculiar as you do. And what's
I would
funny
say
is that-
unique. I wouldn't use peculiar, but we'll go you.
There you go.
Peculiar, that's kind of really close to creepy. So
No. Like, no, I'll go back to peculiar then. But the way I would describe it to people, because yeah, our influences are
All over the page.
so much different than
Yeah.
everybody else. Jay and I are actually the only ones that are the closest when it comes to influential style. I mean, we have a hair metal guitarist.
with no hair.
We're
Yeah,
both-
exactly.
You've never seen it.
I was running so fast, the wind blew it
Yeah, there
off.
you go. There
And
you
it
go.
all went on his back. But if you see the pictures from way back in the day, it was down to here, like to waist. Then it just ran.
Yeah, mine too. Once upon a time. Now it's
Yeah.
stopped growing after like 2.5 years. It's like that's it. I'm done growing.
Yeah. But yeah, so both Jay and I, Jay is a little bit further of a influence list than I do, but both of us are very 90s, 2000s new metal based influences, a lot of it. I mean, you can tell in a lot of his bass style and things like that. I mean, we hang out all the time, so it's just we listen to a lot of the same type of music and everything like that. We're very eclectic in our style of music that we like to listen to. And then yeah, the original drummer we had was actually, his style was very like
Jazz or
jazz, like pop and groove
disco.
type stuff. And the fact that somehow all four of those influences could somehow mix and work well together. Even now, the guitar or the drummer we have now, he listens to death metal constantly. And
Yeah, that's
so
all I
from
listen to.
switching from a jazz drummer to Scott, who we have now, I was initially like, okay, is he gonna be too heavy for us? And it actually was just the right push that we needed.
It opened up some
To-
things.
Yeah, to start making some absolutely phenomenal fast songs.
Well,
Um,
and back in like, I don't know, the mid to late 90s, I was actually playing death metal with a band called Catacomb. You know, we were like Slayer or SOD, that type of thing. So it was actually a breath of fresh air when Scott came in. I'm like, holy crap, I can run again. Let's see what we can do.
That's awesome. I mean, so I got to ask a weird question to you guys real fast. I know when we get in our bus and we decide to go on tour being with Left of Reason, most people might be really surprised if you hear the music that's playing through our radio or through our, our Spotify's. What's going on your guys' radio and your Spotify's? Then I'll tell you what we listen to.
My mind is telling me no, but my body.
Oh man,
It's,
shit.
anyways.
I'll literally go from Entombed, Napalm Death shit to Aaron Lewis's new country stuff. I'm not a country fan, but something about his new stuff I really like. I don't care what anybody says. And then I'll switch and I'll flip over to Incubus, or I'll put in Kitaro, which is Japanese mood music. I love classical music, not classical. You know, I'm all over the place. I mean, if it feels good, I'm gonna listen to it. And it all depends on my attitude and my mood, and I might want to throw in Godsmack and go kick some ass on the job site, or I might want to just roll up a fatty and kick back to some fucking mellow shit, some Pink Floyd. It really depends on my mood. I mean, my mood's changed quite a bit since I've found the sober road in life. So, it's what it is.
I can tell you that if you're in our bus and Journey comes on, watch the fuck out. Billy will be in a dead ass sleep in his bunk. Sit up and hit his head and start singing as loud as he can.
I believe that.
And the rest of us will just go right along with him, I
Yeah.
can remember playing a show in Milwaukee one night, and my youngest daughter was there, and she flew in from California, and driving the bus home, and all of a sudden, Maggie May comes on the radio. I'm not even listening to the radio at all. I'm ignoring everybody at this point because now they're all drunk. And all of a sudden the radio's cranked and the whole bus is singing. And I'm like, huh, we're a hard rock band. I won't say that we're heavy, but we're a hard rock band. And yeah, you get into that 70s genre, the 80s, just get out of the way. They'll be racing each other for the radio to see who can turn it up the loudest.
Oh, yeah.
So I just thought that was kind of a interesting thing. And you guys have heard it too. You go to different shows and you're sitting out in the parking lot and everybody's in their vans, their buses, their RVs, whatever they have. And you walk by them and you very rarely hear like hard rock music.
No,
You just don't hear it. And they're all heavy. They're all hard rock. They're all heavy,
I'm kind of anal retentive when it comes to it. I'm kind of stuck on metal and hard rock, although I do like, Indian sitar music or like the old Irish Celtic or pub songs. I used to hear my grandma's house every time we come over. I'll throw that in just to annoy the fuck out of my kids. So yeah, that's always good. But then, like Bullet for My Valentine, love those guys. Ghost, love those guys. Or 38 Special, the Thin Lizzy, love Thin Lizzy. Ted Nugent, can't get enough of Uncle Ted. And it's just kind of all over the freaking page.
And the only person I've heard you name so far, Danny, that I think would be an influence to you, from what I hear, not knowing you, not being inside your brain, not knowing who you are inside, the one that you brought up a while ago was Yngwie.
Love Yngwie. Speaking of that, love me some Yngwie.
Yeah.
Sheet music. So I spent a lot of time with a guitar, an amp, and a cassette player. Rewind, fast forward, play, pause, learn these parts. I could play the shit out of some Yngwie.
There's not a lot of people even know who he is.
Not anymore, no.
He's like one of the best
Yes,
ever.
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, he's up there with Mr. Van Halen. And, when I was in California recently, when I visited the grave of Randy Rhoads, I mean, he's up there with those guys. I mean, if not higher.
Yngwie guitar sitting upstairs. Love it. Scallop neck, just wicked fast.
Don't
Very
play
cool.
it.
What's that?
And you don't play it.
Oh, I do. I was actually playing it yesterday.
So your guys' social media does pretty well. You guys are pushing stuff all the time, it seems like, on your personal pages, on your Facebook. What other social media are you guys on?
I think we have a Twitter, don't we?
I have no idea.
I thought
I don't even know how to use a Twitter. We have an Instagram.
Oh, that's it. Instagram.
When we were doing shows, we were posting stuff every once in a while. It kind of fell off after, COVID went and this and that. And, we played a few shows last summer, but wasn't nearly as active on that this last year. But
Reverb Nation.
yeah, I think it's really
You guys
Facebook.
are on Spotify,
Yeah, we're on Spotify,
on YouTube.
YouTube.
iTunes.
Yeah. So yeah, we got a couple of the streaming services and things like that, and we post some shows up on there. I think so far the Instagram has just pretty much just been me posting stupid pictures and videos every once in a while.
Perfect.
But yeah, I think really Facebook has been the biggest contributor to getting people to notice about
Biggest
shows.
necessary evil there is in music.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the
it
biggest
sucks
one.
and I hate it, but it's like Instagram. It's almost the same as Facebook because you can just scroll by, press the like button, and keep scrolling and not actually check any of the content. But I think from my short time experience with Instagram, that's even less. Like it's just double tap, there's a heart, keep scrolling. You don't people aren't clicking links on Instagram to a show. People aren't clicking links to your like if you're trying to oh, here's a Spotify link to our song. I don't think as many people are clicking links and stuff like that on Instagram as they are on Facebook. I think it's easier also. I think it's just an easier platform, Facebook, to post
And I think it's,
links, videos, shows, things like that. So
it's readily accessible to everybody. I
Yeah.
think more people use that than anything.
right, yeah,
That's a fact. I mean, that's a proven fact. I mean, if we like
Yeah.
it or not.
right. Yeah, I think most of the, I would say 75 or more % of the time that I've used Instagram, it was because I would post something about a show and I would share it to Facebook as well at the same time. Otherwise, I was just posting to Facebook and be done with it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Some of your songs though, that you really kind of got big pushes out of. I mean, obviously you have your relationship with Johnny Danger. I mean, Dan just loves to post pictures of him and Johnny golfing in stupid outfits.
Making out.
Yeah, pretty much.
playing with this
And you guys are just whoring him out to him, like, take him, Johnny, please.
Sometimes you got to do that, you know.
Sometimes you got to take one for the team. Way to
I'm
go,
sure
Dan.
Johnny's wife is like, I don't know who he loves more.
Yeah.
Which one of the guys in the band is he having an affair with? Oh wait, that guy.
What do you guys got? I mean, I think I follow you guys on Facebook, and I'm friends with you all personally on Facebook too. And it sounds like you guys are writing, getting ready for 2021. You know, let's hope this year we're back.
Yeah, I
Um,
hope so, because we've got our third disc that we've been working on since the start of the dumb shit. And at this point, we've just decided to start working on these songs one at a time because we've recorded the majority of them. And I think there's maybe one or two more we still have yet to get recorded, but you know, we're trying to push them out. We got Zoltan,
right.
and the next one is 12 Gauge Remedy, which we have finished. That's all set to go. And now we're in the works of planning the video so we can do a release of that.
Very good. That's awesome. I look forward to seeing that. I mean, I always like seeing something new and better and bigger. And you guys are still working with Paul Schluter?
Yes.
He's in what's the name of his place?
Megatone.
Megatone. That's it. I'm sorry. I always try to give the producers a push. So too, you know, I mean, I think Paul Schluter is one of the best ones out there. I really do.
Agreed.
And I mean, I think we might look that direction if we didn't have Matt LaPlante. You know, we're happy with him. And I think at the end of the day, you got to be happy with who you're working with.
Right.
And
Well,
I think both of those producers, in my opinion, maybe you guys can point a little bit towards it with how Paul Schluter works with it, is he's a producer.
Yeah.
You don't get to go in there and have him, you play your shit, and then he comes out and says, so is that what you like? And you say yes, and he goes, okay. You know,
Paul's very much he's very helpful. He pushes us to not so much out of our comfort zone, but he's like, hey, I want to see what this will do. Let's try it.
Right here.
And then and then if it doesn't work, whatever, we'll go back to it. But yeah, he very much pushes us, and we've worked with him since the beginning. So now he knows what we want out of our sound, what we
Yeah,
expect.
he's dialed it in.
Yeah, he's
Awesome.
he's got us dialed in very well. So we go in there and he just, yep, cool, okay, I got your settings saved basically. Boom, let's put it here. And then you know, I know me personally, you know, when I get to do my time in the vocal booth, it's you know, he doesn't let me rest. It's no, I'm gonna push you, I'm gonna push you, I'm gonna push you. And you know, there's been Really only a couple times where it was like, okay, the first one or two takes was like primo, that's what we were looking for. A lot of times he's like, nope, change this a little bit, do this a little bit. If I'm doing scream vocals, he's like, okay, we need to get like 3 or 4 takes, because then your voice is a little bit rasped up where it needs to be and where you're comfortable. And that's when we're going to get that good sound. So once we get 4 or 5 takes or something, then we're actually going to start recording, because then we're gonna,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
then
brutal.
yeah,
That's
I know.
brutal.
I know. So it's he's
I've heard
really,
he's hands-on, which I really appreciate in a producer.
Yeah.
He is, and he figured us out in our recording style right out of the gate. And it kind of made him work a little bit too, because he's used to working with backing or the click tracks. We don't use click tracks, right? It's old school. What you hear on the disc, those are live recordings. The only thing that usually really gets the time is what the vocals have to do. Or if there's something in that recording that we have done where either I'm not happy with it, Jay's not happy with it, we'll go through and re-record the whole song. We'll just run off and play it live. So when it comes time for him to try to do all of his things, he's got to put his thinking cap on. But he does a phenomenal job. He's right on board with all that.
Because I think when I listen to different CDs and everything from a lot of bands, I've got a decent ear. I mean, I've been around the business for over 20 years. I took a big break right in the middle there. So by the last 10 years or so, I've been right here. But even back in our day when I was over in Europe playing, you could tell the difference when you start listening to CDs, and then it translates onto the stage.
Exactly.
When somebody's being, I know the word sounds bad, but when they're being produced,
Overproduced.
but it's not a bad word in my opinion. If you got an expert ear, somebody who really doesn't have a dog in the fight, saying, well, this could make it better, or do this, or try this. Because I know, for example, when we recorded our last CD, I can remember Matt LaPlante coming down to our practice, and he's like, all right, let me hear 7 songs or 10 songs. We're only going to take 5 of them. And we played the 10 songs. He said, okay, we're doing the first one, the third one, the 5th one, and went down and told us what we were going to do. Then changed stuff in practice before we ever got there. They were all just little add-ins or takeaways.
Right.
They were nothing like hugely shit. Because I remember we're all like sad and shit because like number 8 was, we were in love with this song. We were in love with it. This is going to be our hit. And he just blew right past it. And we were like, and Dan, our music, it ended up being the ballad.
oh, yep, okay.
He blew right past it. And the only reason it got on is he had some outtakes and stuff from Matt goofing around. He says, oh, let's just do it acoustic.
Oh, right on.
But I think it's awesome when a band finds somebody like that, because it sounded like your guys's. Once again, Jay's bass lines is not just a don't, it's a lot more, a lot of fills. He plays the bass like a guitar. Then you got Danny running all over that neck of the guitar, every different which direction, and doing all that really cool shit. And your drummer's all over, and then you got that guy out front fucking around. And and I think it really,
You encapsulate me perfectly.
and it showed on stage, I think. I mean, you guys look very comfortable playing it. You sound great, and you know what you want to sound like. And that's big, I think.
Well, and really, we have no direction when it comes to music. It's just whatever comes out, comes out. There's no set style or rhyme to the reason. It's just diarrhea of the brain. And
That's how I write all my lyrics.
and for the most part, most of this stuff has been written on the fly. It's just something at practice that all of a sudden we just start playing, and it's like, wait a second, grab a phone, record it, and the good shit sticks. You know, we've
Yeah.
got plenty of stuff that we just pulled out. Exactly.
If we gotta work at it too hard, we throw it away.
Yeah.
And we'll come back to it some other time.
If it's work, then it's not going to happen. It's got to have that natural flow.
Okay. What do you guys got coming up?
Now the video shoot for 12 gauge.
Yeah.
I know we have some things already booked for the summer, but I can't remember what they are off the top of my head. I know the biker benefit for the vets is one of them. That's one.
That's a great one.
Yeah, they wanted us back, so we went ahead and got that all set in stone. But right now it's just getting the rest of these done. We're gonna get 12 gauge video shot, and then I think the next single after 12 gauge is gonna be Food for Worms. I think we talked about that. Or we are, yes, we are then food.
Yeah.
And we are, I'm in the process of buying a sitar because I want to add a sitar to the beginning of that. Because that tune has a little bit of a Middle Eastern type vibe to it from what we've been told by numerous people. So once I heard that, I'm like, got an idea. So I've got a sitar that's going to be coming from India. And once I get that all dialed in, I'll get something figured out for an intro to that. And at shows, I'll drag that out and, you know, sit down on the ground with my little swami hat and play the sitar for a little bit. That's racist. But, you know, go ahead.
Yeah, I just was trying to get stuff out there because I mean, I'm going to probably start wrapping this up a little bit here. Number one, thank you guys for being on today.
Thank you for having us.
I kind of, you know, I love doing this here. I know it's something that I hope to grow to something huge someday, but I love talking to bands. I love talking music. I love letting people kind of peel back the curtain a little bit, you know, see what we're doing.
I love talking to you, Gary.
Why wouldn't you? This is sexy as fuck. There's a reason I'm the fox, you know.
There you go.
You're my silver fox, buddy.
Yeah. And today, like I said, the last 4 days for me is probably 4 of the worst days I could ever remember. And talking to friends, talking about things we all love is my own little therapy. So I thank you guys for that. And I hope you guys, I can't wait to see you play. I mean, I think you're booked at the Back Bar shortly. Or did that get canceled?
So they are going to be opening back up. I actually just saw that our buddies in Squidhammer are going to be there middle of March. So I haven't heard anything official about when they're opening back up, but I did hear about that show. I think it's March 19th, so they'll probably be open in March sometime, booking shows. I don't know.
I wish you guys might have got a hold of me about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I could have got you on that show.
Oh, I didn't even know back.
That's a Mark Rizzo, right?
Yeah, Mark Rizzo show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know they were going to be opening back up. So it's like,
'Cause I thought you guys were going to be on like in either right before or right after that. That's the only reason I didn't contact you.
no worries. We're
Because
still,
I know the promoter called me and he's like, "Hey, who's the big hitters down there?" And are there? And I'm like, "Well, there's Rev X. I mean, they always pack a place." He goes, "Well, do you know those guys?" I'm like, kind of.
Just a skosh.
And I said, "Well, hang on a minute." And I pulled up Back Bar, and you guys are a lot like us. I mean, it's nice to play at home. It you know is nice, but you don't want to play at home all that often.
Yeah, story. Don't want to oversaturate it at all.
I mean, your first year, I mean, I remember having this conversation with Dan and Jay, you know, your first year you play anywhere and everywhere and you don't care, you know, you do not care, you know, just get out there. And then your second year, you start putting in the strategies and you guys have done a great job at that. I mean, when I say that you guys are probably the fastest rising band I've seen in the area, that's not an understatement.
Well, in our third year into it, we were fortunate enough to win the 2020
19.
our 2019 Wisconsin Area Music Industry Award. So we were Metal Artist of the Year for the Whammies, third year out. So that was really a big,
Insane. I didn't even know
Awesome.
we'd be
Awesome
nominated for that shit.
yeah, I didn't even know we were. And then all of a sudden, boom, there we were.
Yeah.
Dumb.
Well, like I said, it's I want to thank you guys for being on here. I'm looking forward to seeing you. I will probably have this up tonight or tomorrow on Spotify. Once it's up on Spotify, we'll get it up on YouTube. So those of you seeing this on YouTube, go to Spotify, please, to push it. If you're watching it on YouTube, hit that stupid subscribe button.
Hit the bell, hit the subscribe. There you go.
Go.
Sponsored by anybody?
Not yet. Not yet.
Oh, you can probably get sponsored by GK.
Well, I do wear my own shit, but
There you go.
there's a certain bar that three of us of this conversation live close by to that I'd love to have a conversation with.
Actually just moved.
What's that?
Actually just moved. I just bought a house in Beloit.
Who did?
Me.
You did.
Yep.
Oh, really? Because I'm in Beloit right now, bro.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, because while I'm without a house at the moment, I'm staying in a hotel. That's because you don't get the cool rock talk with the Silver Fox behind me and everything.
All right.
And yeah, thank you guys for being on here. I'm looking forward to it. Like I
Thank you
said,
for
thank you for my own little therapy, I guess. And I look forward to seeing you guys. Hey, everybody, make sure you're going to their Facebook pages and liking that shit. Go to their YouTube, go to and if they have a channel, subscribe. If they don't, at least like their stuff. It's great music. I mean, honestly, we kind of had a bad year as far as making money
Yeah.
other ways. So we need to get our stuff out there somehow.
Right.
And put it out there for people to hear. And those of you who have not heard Revolution X, they are the heaviest band I've had on here so far, but they're the reason that I put them on here. I only put on bands that I like.
Thank you.
Aw.
Thank you.
know.
I
Well,
like
except
your
your singer,
Silver
Jay.
Fox.
I don't know how you fucked that up. I really don't. I mean, and on that note, Dan, fuck off, and everybody else rock on, and I'll talk to you guys later.